Now the last tool I would like to demonstrate is actually a circular, which we can either create with the revolve or the patch revolve. The revolve command works pretty much the same like in alias, so we need to have a profile which we revolve along an axis line. So I can actually, for example, if I want to, create myself a sketch on the ground, put down a ring, circle, center diameter, 50, okay. And let's give this one a dimension. Perfect. And this point, yeah, good. And the main reason why I did this one is simply I see something as a reference. Now I can create myself another sketch from the side. I see the 50 here, but it's sometimes nice kind of to see the ground surface that tool would use as well. And let's take a look at the revolve solid command first. So the way how this one works is I can start with a line. And where is 50 actually? There's 50, okay. Click and click. Delete those constraints. You know, this one we can actually maintain horizontal. Okay, maybe move this one over a little bit. And if we want, we could fillet the sketch. Okay. And then let's go to model. Okay, why did my sketch disappear? That's interesting. Hold on 1 second. Fusion is a little bit cranky right now. So, show, going to edit, stop sketch, go back to patch. Well, oh, the slide here was turned off. I don't know how I managed to do that. That was a problem. Okay, let's go back to there and revolve. So, select an axis. That's our blue z-axis. Profile. Oh, I can't select this. Why can I select the ring? The main reason is the solid, it needs actually a closed shape. This one is not closed. This one here is open. This one is closed. So if you want to use the solid revolve, we have to do the following. So I go into the sketch and I can simply draw a line down to there, to there. So it's filled. That's one way if I want to. Stop and go to revolve, select this one, the direction here, click OK. And you see there it is. But as you can see, it actually creates a sketch, and that is solid in the bottom. Well, we could actually simply shell it out with the shell command. I would actually prefer doing with the shell command in contrast to going into the sketch and, for example, doing this. I'm going to selecting all this, creating an offset down maybe 5 centimeters. There and there we have to cap this one, there and there, this has to be capped. And here actually this line I want to, trim, because the move command was a little bit tricky. So obviously the shell command can't work. The revolve command is complaining a little bit. All we need to do is simply update the selection Here's my axes, and there I am. But with the shell command, I can easily adjust the shelling just with one feature. And here inside my sketch, I have drawn everything with multiple lines, which is valid as well, but it just complicates everything a little bit. So that's pretty much why I wouldn't really do it that way, for example. So I go back simply to this approach. There. Perfect. So let's actually play with this a little bit more. This line I'm going to fix. This line I'm going to give a dimension. There. Let's say 33 to make it clean. Escape this line. I also, no, I don't really want to fix, but I will give this one the width 50. I actually just realized it's a pretty wide stool. We have to adjust some of those dimensions. There, 40. Oh, by the way, escape. So when you click dimension and you click an object, you see I can drag it out, lower point to the upper point distance, or if I go close to the line, you see the arrow switches to an aligned constraint. That's actually what I want. 40. And then for a nice transition, I punch in my spline there. Perfect. Okay, so when this should be 50, then this can only be 25. And 30 by 2, it's 15. So let's make it 16. And at this point, you see actually I can move, I can rotate it, and it maintains the length. Actually really nice. Can maybe adjust this one, 45. There. You can even click on these handles and, for example, play with that flow a little bit. Works. Even the handle I can click and give it a dimension, like 5. Or here, this handle, maybe turn on the tangency. Yeah, so handle, dimension, and again I would like to have an aligned dimension. But it didn't do it correctly. Okay. Let's do it again. Seems to be tricky. There. So maybe 3. And then we see this way I changed the handle. And this way I can weight this transition a little bit more. Okay, let's stop the sketch. Go back to shelling. Of course, this one doesn't know what to do because I changed the input geometry way too much. So let's delete this one. Shell this bottom face, 3 centimeters, and there we are. So you see, actually I did not use in solid mode the option to round this one because I want to have a little bit more control over how I could create this transition. So if I go, for example, to the sketch and say show dimensions, there I also see the dimensions for my tangency handles. So 2 or 4, 6, 7, 8 or 1. So it's pretty good. And I can also here rotate this line. And again, all this really works so well because this line Let me go into the sketch so you understand what I did. This line I secured. It can't really move much. And this line is attached to here. So when I change the dimension, this endpoint moves to the secured line. The same here, we have a width, it moves to this point. And wherever these lines touch each other, they're kind of like magnetically connected to each other. And then the transition for the handle or for the fillet, we sculpt by having linear dimensions on the tangency handles. So let's take a look at maybe how we could change everything when we adjust also the height. So maybe this line I would like to give a height there. So 10, how does it work? Okay, this moves over. 20, 16, okay, so that's nice. 40, so that moves it up and down. 60, 50, okay, and 20. So I do not have to worry about this line maybe moving a little bit. It doesn't currently, the way how I have everything set up. Obviously when I move this point, maybe can I do it, or is this line actually still fixed? Let's see. Move. Unfix this line and move. Yeah, somewhere is properly actually a constraint on this line. Delete constraints. There. This constraint is gone. So let's see what happens. See now, the constraint was actually that it's all connected. So this line I'm going to delete. Draw myself a new line. In this way actually I create a so-called, think about it maybe as a point constraint. Yeah, okay, perfect. So this solves the problem for ourselves. Great. And that's also partially due because I'm actually using this point and kind of like the grid. Great. Let's maybe keep it at this for the moment. This basically showed you how we can create then everything out of a solid extrude. So for the moment, let's put that away and let's go to the patch. And here we use revolve, profile, no chaining, so this one and this one, revolve around this axis. Yeah, I have to hide this one body here, there. Okay. So there, you see I have actually those two caps. And you see on purpose I ignored actually this part. I could include it, but here I also can do the loft. So this ring to this ring, loft, or skin like an alias, and then profile 1, make it smooth, profile 2, make it smooth. And you see there are small arrows I can pull, and with those actually, as you can see, have an adjustment to the tangency weight or scale. See, essentially I get exactly the same result. There. Now the only problem is I have to create a thickness to it. So thicken this whole part, but it's actually not stitched. So I would have to stitch all those three together. So it's one logical unit. And then I could go to thicken this one, to the inside negative. Let's maybe make this one 3. Okay. Let's take a look at the side. Yeah, so from this point it goes down. So I have, again, here, split this body, this one, along this bottom plane there. And this one we can hide or delete. Touch this one up maybe. Okay. And pretty much if we go and say make this one 14, see the sketch adjusts, my revolved surface adjusts, then the loft adjusts, so everything runs with it. Pretty nice. So which way you use is really up to you. They all have their ups and downs. Because we have the loft, actually I really like this approach because I have more control over how to blend the surfaces with the loft command. Or if I don't need that and I want to use the solid command, then I can have control over the transition by constraining the tangent spline, which we put between these two lines. Also, by the way, I didn't show that yet. Actually, if you would like to have control over the radius, you can actually select these two lines, then go to sketch dimension, and then the software understands, oh, you mean the radius there. Because if you select 2 points, it understands the length, align the length, or between this line and this line, the distance. So it's actually a pretty smart dimensioning tool. So that's it.